Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy From Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts Chuck Bailey and Ian Stimson. Ian, Mr. 100% no more, huh? Somebody's not here.
That is so unfair. So, Oscar started the podcast without you, Chuck, so that you are no longer on 100% of all of our podcasts.
That's true. You were not here for the intro, so it doesn't count.
Okay, well, I'm here now, so I'm on all the podcasts.
No, I heard you were stepping down from your podcast duties to spend more time with your family in North America.
What family in North America?
That prince? The one that's like, nah, I'm out. I don't want to be a prince anymore.
Oh, the ginger one.
Yeah, the ginger, the Nazi, the one that dresses as the Nazis.
Okay, yeah.
Straight in.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah.
Prince Harry, he's had enough.
Oh, is he not? Just wants to be the artist formerly known as Prince, is that it?
Exactly, yeah.
So does he have to pick a last name now?
No, he'll just change his name to a symbol.
Ah, okay. It's actually the deuces. That's his symbol.
I think it might be. Two fingers up to the working classes.
There you go. I only recently learned that they don't have last names. And it's fucking crazy to me.
But I mean...
Like, technically, I know they're like the Windsors, or before that, the Mountbattens.
Nah, like Saxe got the Coburg or some bollocks.
Yeah, that's the one. Because of Philip, the old Philip, Victoria's. Topical. Anyway, welcome to the Miles Offside podcast.
The Royal History podcast. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, we've been watching The Crown, so it's kind of on the brain.
Is it any good?
It's good. Yeah, I like it.
There you go. There's your review. There's your 10-second review.
Well, we are the Miles Offside podcast. We do nominally talk about the Premier League, but as you can already tell, often talk about nonsense and other things. But if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are happy to have you. If you are returning, we do thank you for coming back, despite all the abuse that we inevitably will put you through. We'll start off, as we usually do, with our famous segment, our rapid fire news. Gentlemen, the first big signing of the January transfer window has occurred. We have Crystal Palace signing Everton striker Cenk Tosun on loan. He has joined the club for the remainder of the season, and he is 28 years old. He was not expected to feature in Carlo Ancelotti's plans and was keen to secure regular first-team football. Chuck, how are we feeling about this signing as the resident Palace expert?
Well, he was meant to sign a couple of years ago. I believe it was not January last year, it would have been the summer last year. One of the ones that Allardyce pinched off us. And so he said some quite... Oh, there's a cat! Fuck! The cat's attacking me!
Chuck, put your pussy away so we can keep recording.
Sorry, I'll stop playing with my pussy now. Yeah, that's throwing me off. Yeah, so he hasn't really... He played quite well at the start for Everton, but obviously you have managerial changes, etc., changes of system, and so I don't think it's really suited him. So he wants to get some more game time in before Euro 2020 for Turkey, and so I think it makes sense. I think it can be good, but I think with Palace's injuries, I don't see there being an instant impact there, and his play style is very much similar to... Like, he likes to hold up the ball. He's very strong, and, scoring headers is something he's particularly good at. So unless we kind of revert to the way we played about 3 seasons ago and actually whipping crosses, then I don't really see a ton from it. But it's nice to get bodies, and Roy's little face was happy. So there you go. Keeps him ticking along.
And you have been saying all along that striker is really your weak point and you need to bring someone in.
Goals.
Are you happy with this, or are you still hoping for them to bring someone else, maybe like Mishi coming out from Chelsea on loan or something like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed stuff. I mean, there's also some bullshit that like we're getting Christoph Piontek from AC Milan, which is an absolute madness. Because he's supposedly also got something. The cat's back. The cat is back. Fuck off, you prick.
Oh, this is going to be a constant, this episode.
Why has this never happened before? We've made it like 76 episodes, and this prick decides to show up now, little Johnny come lately. So, yeah, again.
The cat is back for the third time. The listeners cannot see this, so it's not as funny to you guys, but it is very entertaining to me that Chuck will start saying a sentence, and then all of a sudden a cat just pops up in front of his face, clearly walking across his laptop keyboard.
Every time. Fucking...
It's the new laptop. It's attracted to it.
Get out of the house. Fuck it.
Go kill some fish.
Yeah.
Fetch me some fish.
Family gonna eat tonight.
Yeah, baby.
What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Football, science. This is the problem. This is why we're not meant to talk about football, guys. These things just happen and we get sidetracked.
All right, let's move on then. We can talk more about Palace later. To our next story. Speaking of AC Milan, actually, Zlatan Ibrahimovic has scored in his first start for AC Milan since rejoining the club, and it has, quote, made him feel alive. I'll celebrate like a god at San Siro, not here. The important thing is that I feel good. I missed a few balls at the beginning of the game, but I need to play games to get back in shape. It sounds like he's doing better than his statue.
Yes.
Because a related story, just to kind of tie them in together, Zlatan's statue watch this week on January 5th, 2020, it was reported that the Zlatan Ibrahimovic statue was sawn off at the ankles. Vandals had toppled the statue of the former Sweden striker by sawing it off at the ankles. This comes after a wave of vandalism, including spray painting, attempts to remove the nose, and setting the statue on fire, as well as the infamous toilet seat incident.
The infamous... That kept happening multiple times, you know. I swear to God, that must just be a thing that you put toilet seats on people in Sweden. I don't know.
Sullying a whole nation with...
Yeah.
Just stop putting toilet seats on people, guys. Come on.
If you are Swedish, just tweet at us with a yes or no. No context. We'll probably forget what it's for, but just yes or no. Do you put toilet seats on people? Speaking of toilet seats, ooh, that worked out great. Update on Harry Kane, gentlemen. The Tottenham striker will have surgery on his hamstring and will be out until April. Kane, 26, suffered the injury to Tottenham's defeat to Southampton on New Year's Day. No timescale was originally given on the England captain's return, but Spurs now say that surgery is required and he will not be back until April. How are you guys going into a Euro 2020 summer feeling about him as the official permanent captain and as potentially the starting striker despite being
Can we just
injured?
Acknowledge that... Are we saying toilet seat means that someone's bad?
Yeah, he's crap. He's crap. So toilet seat, crap. There you go.
Crap adjacent. Are we worried about Euro 2020? I think if we didn't have like Marcus Rashford banging in goals and Jadon Sancho being great and Danny Ings potentially and Tammy Abraham and maybe get Jamie Vardy out of retirement for the lols.
How does the captain thing play in though? Because he's not like the Southgate didn't say that there's like a rotating captain. It's Harry Kane is the captain. So is that going to put added pressure on them to play him this summer?
I mean, it will because it's England, so we'll start to fall into the same trap that we always do, and there'll be these players that cannot get dropped or cannot not play. So much like Kane has been rushed back from every Tottenham injury constantly for the last 2-3 seasons, he'll get rushed back the same for England, and so he'll have to have the armband and play. But do I necessarily think he's the most influential player on the pitch? No.
Can we not hope that Gareth Southgate is smarter than that?
No.
No.
No, straight away. Right. I mean, I had some hope because, as you say, other strikers are in such good form at the minute. But, really? That depresses me. I'm already depressed.
Let me put a scenario out there to you guys as the two England people. Let's say we get to the end of the season. English people, England fans, England the team.
I think you need to watch a little bit more of The Crown, mate.
Hello, England people.
As subjects of Her Royal Highness,
Oh, fucking hell.
Queen Elizabeth.
Big Lizzie.
Let's say we get to the end of the season. Tammy comes in second for the Golden Boot race, or Rashford. They're both right in that conversation. And Harry Kane scores 3 goals right towards the end of the season. Who do you want to see in starting? Like, what's your ideal there? And what do you think will actually happen?
What I think would actually happen would be if Kane's back, Kane starts. That's simple facts.
I mean, he'll be back before the end of the season.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone but Kane starts. Whether Rashford or Abraham, Rashford seems to me to play more because chances are it'll be, say, Sterling on the left and Sancho on the right.
Yeah.
I think if he wants to do something a bit more, should we say, intricate and chopping and changing between players, then probably go for Rashford. But Abraham would kind of fits in the middle of the Rashford kind of Kane spectrum, where he's a bit more of a target man and a bit more in the air.
Yeah, and that's pretty similar to Chelsea's setup.
Yeah.
With Pulisic and Willian, or Callum and Willian.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Kane it is, I guess?
Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Just give him all the port and Skittles and vodka you can send and say, come on, give us a summer. I think
Get him on that cheeky Vimto.
Yeah, exactly. I think there has to be a thought of that if Leicester carry on. But I mean, how does that work? Does Southgate genuinely beg him to come back, or do we just play Rashford, who's in great form, young, assume that he's going to be our main striker for the next 8 years? Who knows?
Just turn up at his house with 24 WKDs, mate.
Yeah,
Job
that'll
done.
That'll do it. But Vardy's got to be thought about, surely. I mean, I know he's retired, but
He's being thought about right now, Ian. He's being thought about
it's
by us.
literally being thought about right now by people on the cut and thrust of the football media. That's us, by the way.
Oh, right, gotcha.
And our final story, Holmesdale FC have walked off amid racist abuse allegations during a Rochester United league game. It is the first notable instance of a team walking off the pitch during a league game amid claims that one of their players was racially abused. How are we feeling about that, gents? About time?
What, that someone walked off, right? That's what we're...
Yeah, we're not pro-racism.
Just checking, right.
We've had this conversation off air so many times, Chuck. We are anti-racism.
Yeah, but I don't know. Public polls keep telling me, I don't know, it's fine. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Politics. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they also said that he got spat at and headbutted, and so it's obviously being investigated. No, that was the response, sorry, to the racist, not the...
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm behind that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. And, well, I mean, Rochester's a shithole, so I'm not surprised.
There you go. Any listeners there? Fuck off.
Where is it? Kent. Oh, there's never been any racism in Kent. It's fine.
No, not at all.
No. Obviously, we support clubs walking off it. I mean, it's what sort of rung of the ladder are we talking here? This is
10th, 9th,
10th. Yeah, okay. So we're gradually creeping up into proper football. I mean, who knows how long it'll take before a top level team does it?
No, because there was one from a non-league in a cup, wasn't there? In like one of the FA Cup preliminary rounds.
Was there?
Yeah, where someone walked off, because it has happened before. But obviously there's loads of things happening with Tottenham and Chelsea that game where there were announcements played.
Yeah, before the match this week, just preemptively getting out there being like, reminder,
don't be a prick.
Racism is bad. Yeah. There was the City fan also hurling racist abuse at Sterling, his own player.
Smart guy.
Do we think that this will set almost a precedent or the tone for teams to actually start walking off, or is this going to be like an aberration and a one-time thing because it was further down the leagues?
There's no way it's a one-time thing. I think this, like I say, I think this is just going to start creeping up the levels now. So, because the higher levels it goes, the more sort of media spotlight it will get. It's a big sort of touchstone issue at the minute, isn't it? So I just think, I think this will carry on happening. It should carry on happening, and it will just start creeping up the levels now. I don't know how long it'll be before you get a League Two team walking off or whatever. But
it nearly happened in internationals, didn't it, with England and Bulgaria? But obviously, then there was a lot of vitriol.
I think they were on a knife edge of doing it. To be honest,
and there was a lot of vitriol at that about obviously it being Bulgaria and their history, and then lo and behold, 5 days later, it starts happening here. So. There's enough problems to sort out closer to home, and just there has to be a way of making it work, because it's just fucking disgusting. You don't, to get 5-year bans from football grounds and stuff. Is it really enough? Does that warrant it? Do you deserve? If any of us were in our place of work and a complete stranger came in and screamed at us and was abusive, or not even going into the racist or xenophobic or ageist, in your case, Ian, abuse, into the protected kind of characteristics area, like that would be unacceptable. No, good on Holmesdale FC for acting on it, because at some point there is a breaking point, and I don't think it's acceptable, especially if potentially nothing's going to be done about it. You say, okay, well, that's it. Yeah,
the clubs seem to have to take it into their own hands, because the FA isn't doing anything but paying lip service to the issue at this point, and until like stadium bans and fines and maybe points deductions start coming in, unfortunately it does fall to the players and the clubs.
T-shirts and logos and snappy catch lines only go so far.
Yeah, all right, well, let's move on then to the actual football from this weekend. We'll just run through the fixtures pretty quickly. I think this weekend, for me at least, was remarkable in its unremarkableness.
Unremarkableness.
Yeah, there was only a couple of like Burnley of the week type matches, and all the clubs that had been underperforming or overperforming pretty much got the results that you would expect. I think that'll be a running theme as we go through, but let's start off with a cheeky Friday kickoff, gentlemen. We did have Sheffield United beating West Ham 1-0, 2.1 to 0.9 on XG. Sheffield's amazing run this season just continues.
Yeah, up to, what are they up to, 6th now?
Yes, 6th ahead of Wolves, and only 2 points behind Man United.
That upsets me, though, that Man United are up there. But anyway, no, very good. West Ham, they've had a bit of a bounce, and they do look better, but obviously there's still a lot of things to solve there. They did have the unfortunate, I mean, if you want to say it's unfortunate, obviously the goal disallowed right towards the end of the game. I think it was in the 93rd minute, where Declan Rice has hit the ball into his arm, and then as he's running, he's then come out and said every single footballer is against VAR, and obviously thrown his toys out the pram, etc. And, you know, it's just the law of the game being enforced, mate. Literally the law. This is the same guy, remember, who kicked off because he was about 5 yards inside the penalty box and cleared a ball and then had to have it retaken and then encroached on the retake as well.
Smart guy.
He doesn't look like the brightest bulb in the box anyway. So
yeah, and on the VAR thing, like, it was nice this week on Twitter to finally start seeing other people be like, guys, VAR is being implemented kind of confusingly, but most of your complaints are actually about the rules, not about VAR itself. Stop blaming VAR for the rules being stupid. The rules were stupid before VAR, and now VAR is just highlighting that. And it's nice to sort of see that, at least on Twitter, in the circles that I sort of follow, the conversation turning away from VAR sucks and fuck the AR, which is still very much the mood at the stadiums, to people realizing that, like...
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah. I'm happy to see it shifting. I mean, we don't want to keep talking about VAR all the time, so, you know, we don't try to bring it up, because every weekend there's an armpit offside. But, yeah, I don't know, at least as far as that, since it came up, to me it's nice to see other people finally realizing that it's more about the rules than it is about VAR itself.
Yeah, and it is a silly rule, don't get me wrong, in that situation, at the speed, and he didn't try to naturally make his body bigger, or he didn't smash the ball down. You know, they're both sprinting, the ball's come off the Sheffield player, gone sideways into his arm as his arm's coming back for the run, and it's just dropped down in front of him. Doesn't matter that he's about 25 yards away, 30 yards away from the goal when it happens. That leads up to Snodgrass's goal. And that's just the law of the game and how it's implemented. So they've got a lot to think on, obviously, and there's a lot of ammunition kind of coming their way. I think in general, all of the owners and the senior people at the clubs will be happy that it's there. I just think it's just the implementation, and it's sad that, you know, we didn't talk about it last week, but the screen still hasn't been looked at in a single Premier League game. But Michael Oliver went and looked at it in the Palace Derby game. Typically it would be fucking us that suffer with someone actually looking at it for once. So yeah, I think it just needs a lot of tweaking. It won't happen this season, and we'll see what they come back with in the summer. But obviously a lot of those things are just the international rules of football, laws of football even. So it's not quite that easy just because you get a bit disgruntled with them one season to just go, right, we're ripping up the rule book for the whole world.
Yeah, and I think this summer, seeing VAR going to be used at it is going to be used at Euro 2020, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so seeing it used in a big international competition like it was 2 summers ago at the World Cup will hopefully remind people of how it can be when it's used well. Because that, I think pretty much unanimously, that summer at the World Cup, people were like, oh, this VAR thing is cool. I'm a big fan of this. Like, there was a lot of good moments with that, and so, you know, if the league will be looking at itself and looking at its own implementation and the rules at the same time as potentially, hopefully, the Euros showcasing what VAR can do when done well, that could be a spur for change going into next season. But moving on, we have the first early kickoff Saturday. Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 1. Chuck, not quite Burnley of the week, but you guys 0.3 to 1.0.
We were horrendous. Well, can you be considered horrendous when you just don't do anything? Like, you literally just give the other team a ball and just let them pass it round and let them find their rhythm. Like, can it be horrendous if you're just passively standing there? I don't know. Do you have to actively be trying to fuck up? Or because the first goal was just, we'd let them have, I think you messaged me and after like 10 minutes, Arsenal were at 80-something% possession.
Yeah, it was a bit of fun just trying to needle you.
I mean, it's just early, that's fine. And then obviously for the goal, like, David Luiz gets it at about the centre spot. He passes it 20-odd yards straight forward to Mesut Ozil, who passes it 6 yards straight forward to Lacazette, who then passes it straight forward to Aubameyang. So the ball never moved outside of the posts, and they just went straight through because no one was pressing. And you're like, this is absolute madness. Like, you've got a team here that's renowned for donkey's years playing under Arsene Wenger, this pass style of football. You bring in Arteta, who has just learnt off Guardiola for years, who is used to playing this pass football and has got them practicing rondo non-stop. And you're just like, you know what? Let's just give them the ball. Let's not press them, and let's just see. Oh, goal.
Yeah. It was not the best match. I'll say. I messaged you and Adam and said I'm having more fun watching you two bicker on Twitter than I am watching your two crap teams try to lose to each other, which is...
No, it was pretty bad. And then Arsenal didn't really make the most of it, I don't feel, in the first half. Like, we came into it a bit more in the second half of the first half and had a few good chances. I mean, we actually had a shot on target in the first half towards the end, guys. So, progress. And it was... Yeah, they kind of let us back in, and then there was a moment where an incident happened, and it was something stupid, like 2 Arsenal players ran into each other, knocked each other down, and then the ball went to an Arsenal player, but then Palace took it back, and then they had to stop because it was a head injury, etc. And then the referee then brought it back for a drop ball, but then Arsenal never played it back to us or something like that. And obviously everyone was a bit, started booing, and it kind of G'd up the crowd massively and the players to a point where it was like, no, fuck you, all right, well, we're going to take you now. And then all of a sudden the game stepped up. That then led to Jordan Ayew getting a quite a lucky deflection on a goal. And then obviously Aubameyang getting a red card for his challenge on Maya, which I think is fair.
Yeah, I had no problem with it.
I think when you compare it to what Mamadou Sakho's one was before, when was it, about 6-7 weeks ago now? Like, I get Sakho's moving a bit faster, but, Aubameyang's just come clean in, studs up, straight at ankle height towards him. It's...
Yeah, when you're showing studs and you catch someone above the ankle, I see no way that that you can complain that your player got a red card. Like,
no, exactly. But what was funny, and that links in before, is that obviously the Palace fans had banners up against VAR saying it's killing the atmosphere, killing the game, etc. Get rid of it. We're then waiting for the VAR decision while they're chanting "fuck VAR," and whilst we then benefit from Aubameyang being sent off. So it was a bit weird.
Yeah. It's like, Michael, get the banner down. Come on.
Get the banner down. This is like the Millwall guy. Turn it off, don't fucking... Oh, shit. And that's just South London for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's football fans.
And that sandwiches you very nicely between Arsenal and Tottenham. Tottenham on 30, you guys on 29, and Arsenal on 28. So you stay in the top, top 10, I guess top 9.
Top 9, yep. We hit the minimum prerequisite to be in the top 9. Thank you very much.
Yep, there you go. That's right. So it's looking like going to be your highest ever points total, right? So, how are you feeling?
Still on for it. I mean, it's so hard to get a read on anything. Like, I've been very down, and I still am down a bit on it because it's scraping by. The underlying numbers or whatever aren't good. The goals, we're still not really getting them. And there are some little positives out there. Like, Jaro Wiedewald has been pretty amazing since he started actually getting some minutes. He was starting for Ajax like the year before they got to the Champions League semi-final, for fuck's sake, and then just wasn't playing for us all last season, which must have been a bit gutting for him. But he's come into a position that he doesn't normally play as left back since we've not got Jeffrey Schlupp or Patch van Arnhout, and been playing really well and just doing absolute madness skills and stuff whilst we're playing against Arsenal, and it was lovely to see. So, no, there are some positives, but I just think we need to gradually get players back to actually play football again. Like we're not really. We're kind of scraping by, and you look at all of our results recently, and it's just been so many missed opportunities. That's albeit against Arsenal, and yes, it's a good point. Like that's a massive opportunity to be up in the game, momentum wise and positivity wise against a team that's just gone down to 10 men. They've taken off their central midfielder who was doing incredibly well and almost running the game for them in Torreira in the first half. It was very strange that he got brought off. I don't know whether there was a knock or anything there, but he was really having a huge impact on the game. So when he went off, Arsenal also kind of lacked there, since you've just got Granit Xhaka, who's...
Crap. He needs a toilet seat around his neck?
He is toilet seat, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on then to the only other draw of the weekend, and cue the jingle.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week.
It's the Burnley of the week. Wolves won, Newcastle won, but 2.1 to 0.2 on XG. So Newcastle, thoroughly undeserved draw against Wolves, who have been all over the map this year. They've been good, they've been bad, they've gotten some results, they've gotten some bad results.
Not good, but they have had such an up and down season. They had the fixture congestion. They've played more games than any other team, etc., etc.
Either of you guys still holding on to Jimmy in your FPL team? I still have I finally got rid of him this week.
Not had him this season.
That's probably for the best, I think.
No, yeah, I just dropped him for Firmino.
Oh, hello.
I like that move.
Some prep happening there.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. See, he's got to be low percentage too.
We'll start talking about fantasy later, man.
Yeah, let's save that for later. Let's move on to the next match. We had Chelsea 3, Burnley 0, 2.9 to Chelsea, 0.4 to Burnley, so pretty much spot on with the scoreline.
Overperforming.
Yeah.
3 off 2.9. Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, you were cacking your pants about this game. You kept going like, we're going to lose, we're going to get Burnley. Oh my God, it's going to happen. And then all of a sudden it was just like, Tammy Abraham. It's all good. 3-0. Yeah, good vibes.
Yeah, it was an easy win. It wasn't much going on. I do always go into a match against Burnley very apprehensively because, getting Burnley would just be the most appropriate thing. I hate them so much, so they would Burnley my team. At least it feels that way, but we've actually had pretty good success against them.
Well, they Burnleyed Peterborough earlier in the FA Cup, so...
Yeah.
I mean, did they or did they fully fuck us over? It don't matter.
You probably fully fucked yourself, let's face.
Ian, who did recently, let's all wish him a happy birthday, listeners, he did recently turn 78, so...
You're leaving yourself nowhere to go for the future, you really are.
Well, no, you can turn 79.
Oh, shit, yeah. Okay, that is our number.
He's not good at counting. Remember, he can't count higher than 1.
Again, that was from sound check before the listeners are involved. We can't keep doing this.
Check, yay!
1. Yes, that's how I check my mic.
There you go. To go back to the Chelsea match, nothing really notable for me. At least it was nice to see
Hudson-Odoi's first goal. Thank you very much.
What I was about to say.
Nothing notable. Disservice to your boy.
Well, if you had let me finish my sentence, I was going to say nothing notable other than.
Don't lead with your bullshit.
It was nice to see him score. Pulisic is out for a few weeks with an injury that may or may not be real. People are suspicious, but when they say it's for multiple weeks, I tend to believe that. So I don't know. But it's nice to see Callum stepping in and filling those boots nicely. He has been getting better and better the more he's been playing. And he's very talented, probably one of the most talented people at the club. So if he can get up to his talent level at such a young age, then that would be great. Especially since Willian is having an amazing season, but he is pretty old. So I'm not betting on Willian to be the future of the club. I think he's a leader right now, but Callum and Pulisic, and if we do sign Sancho, which there's a ton of rumors about, obviously the three of them would be the future of the club. So it's nice to see Callum hitting that potential long term.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho and Timo Werner being linked, that's big stuff, especially as Werner has like a 50 million release clause. And...
Yeah. But I think he said that he wouldn't leave his club even if his release clause got triggered until the summer. But we have our striker chart is very good. Like, Michi is an amazing backup. Giroud still can do a job when he called upon, and obviously Tammy's one of the best strikers in the league. So I don't know why they're looking at strikers. They should be looking at keepers and left backs, but we'll see. this is not really...
Don't need to defend, mate, if you score more goals than the other team.
Yeah, that's true. That is kind of our motto lately. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward match. We performed to our numbers. We look good. We are probably the third or fourth best team in the league, and we're playing like it again. We had that blip for a few weeks there, but, you know, if we can keep going as such, we are now up to 72% for the Champions League, so right back up to very, very comfortable numbers and very happy days.
Can we talk about Leicester-Southampton now?
Yes, let's move on to Leicester 1, Southampton 2.
Things can only get better. Can only get better when he's on Ian's bench.
Oh, fuck off. I was enjoying that.
Prick.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you text and said you've dodged a bullet here because I didn't see that one until the highlights. Fuck me, you were right. Jesus Christ. I dodged a bullet. He was all over the place.
Obviously, they scored he scored in about the 82nd minute or so not too close to the end, but like took his shirt off and everything. And I think it's just such a monumental thing for them because of how far they've come since that 9-0 game. That was just an absolute shambolic collapse on every spectrum of their club, position-wise, play-wise, everything. And then they kept losing for a little while and have gradually built up. And the fact they've now got 13 out of 15 points in the last 5 games, like, it's insane. And so I think that's kind of what triggered the relief, the way he was playing. He hit the bar twice. He had 2 1-on-1s. He was playing absolute screamers.
And it was a fully deserved result, getting 0.8 on the XG to 2.2. So exactly right on the scoreline. And you mentioned the last 5 games. I have the numbers pulled up for that. Over the last, actually, I guess 6 games, but in the last month, Southampton have had the 3rd most points in the league, getting 13 points. The only 2 teams above them are Liverpool and Man City on 15 points. And then also on expected points, they are within 0.2 of Liverpool, United, and Chelsea. They are 5th most expected points over the last month also. They have been genuinely fantastic in the last month, and their run up the table is showing that they are now only 3% to get relegated, which is phenomenal.
They've got 28 points from 22 games now, and they did just have, 15 from 17? Like, that's 5 games ago.
Yeah, and they have had very, very, notable opponents in that run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been against, other relegation rivals, which might be equally as important, I guess, in that relegation run, but they're not anymore. They played, Spurs, Leicester, Palace, the mighty Palace.
Yeah, well, that's just looking at it now and how they've been playing, that Palace result is a really good result for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get 1-0 against a team, they beat Villa, fine. It's not really saying much. To beat Chelsea, to beat Tottenham, Huddersfield in the FA Cup.
Bringing it back.
Huddersfield.
Lovely.
And then to complete this complete turnaround against Leicester to, not have this humiliation and have an absolutely hard-working, fantastic performance where they dominate the stats and the play and get their reward. It's absolutely fantastic. So, we said very positive things about them last week, and I think we'll continue to do so.
Yep, and also happy to see Leicester dropping points because they are not the 2nd or 3rd best team in the league, so it is always nice to see them revert and slowly fall down the table.
Things that you can't understand just destroy you, don't they? When anything breaks from the social convention and norm and your weird stats robot mind.
Absolutely, and we'll sort of touch on this when we get to the Liverpool match, but yeah, I am there's a reason that I side with the Sith and not the Jedi, and it is because I crave order and I crave sense in a otherwise chaotic universe as opposed to just fuck it, chaos is great. So we'll kind of get to that with Liverpool, but let's keep going. Because there is one more match in there to talk about. Before that, we have Manchester United 4, Norwich 0, and fairly even on the XG in terms of the result. We had 3.1 to 0.3. So, very, very good performance from United here.
Yeah. What do you say about that?
I like it. I've been saying since the beginning that United are the 3rd or 4th best team in the league with us. They're pretty much spot on back and forth on expected points, and it is largely bolstered by their defense. Yes, Norwich is crap, but you can only beat the teams that are put in front of you.
What
and,
team?
Norwich.
Thank you.
Sorry, did I say Norwich there a few times?
You did. I didn't. I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
that's really upsetting.
Yeah.
I'm not on my game today. I do apologize to our listeners. Norwich being absolute garbage against United. United, that brings them up to 19% to make the qualifying for the UCL or the Champions League. They are the most likely team of the chasing pack now. And Norwich is 93% to get relegated. So that is done and dusted.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yikes. I mean, they're on 14 points, 6 behind 19th.
They're 8 points from 17th, but you'd say that's West Ham and Watford, so you'd say they're kind of on the up teams. They're probably more likely to catch like Burnley on 24 points.
Yeah.
But then that still involves them getting 10 points, which out of 16 games,
It goes back to that thing I was saying the other week that like you can catch one team, but to catch 4 teams or 3 or 4 teams, like that's almost impossible.
It can happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know Leicester,
but look at
right?
Southampton. Well, no, just Southampton. The last 6 weeks,
Sure, yeah, that
they
too.
were rooted.
Yeah.
It was like Southampton or Watford, gone, done, awful, all saying it. Now Watford got 13 points from 5 games. Southampton got 13 points from 5 games. Like I said about Southampton before being on 15 points from 17, Watford were on 9. Watford were on 9 fucking points.
But Watford's underlying numbers have always...
Half a point a game, Oscar. A half a point. That's dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're still 18% to go down too, Watford.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I think if you look at the teams above them, I think Brighton had a really strong start to the season and looked different, but I think they've really struggled recently, and the results show that. Newcastle will always be Newcastle. Burnley are absolute garbage. West Ham, I think they'll be kind of steady, but I don't see really that great. And they'll Villa, Bournemouth, and Norwich aren't going to turn this round. I don't see that so much because Villa have just had zero luck at all season. Bournemouth, fuck me. I mean, I enjoy seeing it. I'm not.
I was going to say, you must love that.
I love it. And it's almost like I reverse jinxed it because last year, when we did the Predictor League, I put Bournemouth to get relegated.
Right.
And so this year, when we did the predictions, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that again because they'll just finish higher in the table to spite me. So I put them about mid-table, and now they're getting relegated, baby. So reverse jinx, all me.
We did kind of focus in on Norwich for this match, but do we want to give any love to Man United for the 4? Or even if they did good, fuck them, we hate them, so we don't want to talk about it.
Rashford looked good. Juan Mata played an absolute amazing pass for the first goal, so it's quite nice to see that he's still got it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted, I just thought maybe, somewhere in the back of my mind, I just thought maybe he could play for Palace because he just didn't play for Man United for so long. I was like, I'd love that. I like him just because he seems like he's lovely.
Yeah, he's one of those N'Golo Kante guys that everyone's just like, what a nice guy. Everybody loves him.
So that was good to see something from him. But yeah, otherwise I don't know. It's very hard to read into a game like that against a team like that who aren't playing with their best player because Pookie's injured. So R.I.P. in peace, Norwich.
Moving on, we got Tottenham 0, Liverpool 1. Tottenham 1.1 on XG to Liverpool's 1.8. So, when you do the goal difference unexpected, it's still a 1 goal difference. So it's a fair result, even if they both kind of underperformed a little bit. But that's within the realm of variance. Tottenham put up a pretty good fight in the second half there. They did kind of tweak a little bit and looked much better. But the storyline here is clearly Liverpool. They are now 98% for the title.
Doesn't feel enough.
Doesn't really. They're, 16 points and a game in hand ahead of Man City? 14 points,
14 points,
14 points and the game in hand, so 17 points ahead. 61 points from 21 games. Officially the highest scoring team ever at this point of the season, so evidently whichever team before must have been on 58 after
that's
20
that's
or
among
all
all the major top 5 divisions leagues as well. Sorry, they've no
the
team
top 5 divisions. I don't think that
top 5 divisions. Not even Peterborough's done that. No, the top 5 leagues in the world. No club has ever won 20 out of 21. I mean, that's insane.
Mad.
Insane. Do you reckon it riles them that the draw was Man United?
Yes, it's got to be massively. That's so disappointing for them as well, because that was Man United were not good around then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not really good ever. But they probably don't mind the fact that Man United are fifth, but they're 27 points ahead of them.
Yeah. If they're going to look at the bigger picture, fine. But
27 points with a game in hand. Potentially, Liverpool can be 30 points ahead of Man United in January, for fuck's sake.
That's insane.
I think they take that all day long.
Fair enough.
I don't know. What do we say about Liverpool at this point? They just keep doing Liverpool.
Again, didn't necessarily play very well, but Firmino was amazing. Mane was amazing. Salah was amazing.
I thought Tottenham, I felt like it was a bit of a gift to start with. Tottenham really did play the most Jose sort of damage limitation sort of football, and I was just like, oh, it's going to be like this, is it? Great, okay.
Yeah, it was.
That wasn't great. But then when they did come into the game, I mean, it's like we were just saying, it's kind of the same as with England, you know, if you take Harry Kane out again, and Kane's been there the whole time Jose's been there, so
yeah,
he's then got to find a different way to play to try and sort that out. At least he had Son back, although didn't really do much in the highlights that I remember, but yeah, they had such a golden chance at the end with Lo Celso in front of the goal to put that away. I mean, even Mourinho was hilarious. Like, you watch his reaction to it, and he went down on his knees, like,
just
kind
sort
of
laughs.
laughing, stuck his tongue out. And it was funny that he was doing that, and then in the foreground, you've got Jurgen Klopp going absolutely fucking ballistic across at his players, and Jose's just there, like, on the floor, and then, like, hugging the fourth official.
A little cuddle to the fourth official.
Yeah, so at least, you know, he's not being Jose about it yet.
The one thing that was Jose was putting out a bad lineup to try to throw the results to a certain extent, playing a complete and utter lack of a central midfield and some very inexperienced players in a big match.
Well, he kind of knows there's nothing really to play for this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, that does feel like kind of the final nail in the coffin. They're now 9 points behind Chelsea and only 11% to make Champions League.
Yeah.
So, you know,
he's got to do something that's. His players have got to do something which is beyond their means at this point, with the situation they're in. And I think with, like we said, how destructive and kind of bad that atmosphere was there, that he just needs to kind of ride out this season.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They're not going to get rid of him, and surely he must have had guarantees, if not January, maybe potentially January offload some players, because I know they don't want Eriksen to go on a free. Then in the summer, kind of get the money to spend.
Yeah, all right, well, let's move on to the Sunday matches. We had Watford smacking down Bournemouth 3-0, 2.3 to 0.3 on XG.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you just get a manager and knows how he wants to play, really. It's amazing how it works. And that's the thing, the Watford manager merry-go-round comes up trumps again, because it always happens at some point. They try a few different things and they go, all right, well, Pearson knew what he was doing, and that means Pearson's going to go at the end of the season. Ranieri's going to come in, and Watford are going to win the league next year. So
job done.
There you go. All right, and speaking of job done, we had Manchester City 6, Aston Villa 1, scoring that obnoxious late penalty at the end there, putting them at 1.1 on XG, including the penalty. They were at 0.1 up to that point. Not quite 0.1, but somewhere around there. And 3.4 to City, scoring 6. But honestly, it looked like it could have been 8 or 9 to me.
That is what we call a knock to the confidence.
I was sure you were going to go dicking, but fine.
Yeah, definite negative there. I mean, they were 3-0 up after about 25 minutes, and when you see that, that's kind of job done, innit?
I had a bet on 3-0, and when the second goal went in about 20 minutes or so, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, it's 2-0. I sort of should be happy it's going in the right direction, but I was like, no, it's going to swing wildly in the other direction. This is bad.
Yeah, Villa were lucky that City did kind of not switch off, but sort of relax a bit in the second half. Didn't quite keep pushing, because that could have really kept running up. It was already an embarrassing scoreline. I believe it was City's biggest away win ever, or something like that. I don't know, the announcer was saying, or I think it might have been at 6-0, but then the penalty at the end changed that.
They've beaten Palace by 5, like 3 times. Home and away in the same season. I think 3 times.
Ouch.
Jesus Christ.
Watching this match, I was struck by a wave of sadness. One of the reasons that I fell in love with the Premier League so much
Right.
above and beyond even American sports that I grew up watching, is that in American sports, it's very easy. I would even say most seasons, if like more than half, maybe not like the overwhelming majority, but the best team does not win the title in American sports. And that's because of the nature of playoffs, right? It's like the Champions League. The best team in the world doesn't always win the Champions League. It's maybe like a 50-50 chance because it's a knockout competition. So here, you'll have the best team. You'll have the team that had an amazing long season, consistently better than everybody else. And then in the playoffs, weird things happen, and they won't win the title. I think a very notable example of that was the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors in 2015 or 16. I forget what it was. They went on a run. They won the most games ever in a regular season. They had the best underlying numbers of any team ever. Their metrics were amazing.
Steph Curry.
That's the one. Yep. And then they lost in the finals. They were up 3-0 in the finals, and it was a huge, huge choke job by them.
To the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, didn't even do that. Once again, brain Google wins.
There you go.
Because LeBron came back, baby.
Or in football, that happened with the Patriots too. There's teams that are the, probably the greatest team of all time, but then they don't win the title, so they don't get to even be in the conversation. But that very rarely happens in the Premier League. Over 38 games, the underlying numbers, by and large, do show out. Leicester is a notable, exception to that. And now I guess Liverpool.
The Leicester being a notable exception, that's kind of what you're alluding to, is what can happen in the US sports because of that.
Right, exactly. But the reason I like the Premier League is because it doesn't happen as much over there. And watching City today just beat down on Villa, I was reminded of the fact that they are the best team in England. They're the best team probably in the world. Maybe not. I mean, it's at least a conversation, but their underlying numbers are far and above Liverpool's. And Liverpool grind out wins, but when City are on a 6-1, was anyone even particularly surprised by that?
No.
That they're not going to win the title, that they're not even remotely going into the end of the season with a chance of winning the title, is really sad to me. Because I like that in the Premier League, it's usually the best team that wins. And this year it won't be, unless City have a horrible back half of the season with their underlying numbers and Liverpool going to... Did I say Liverpool or City just now?
I don't know. You've said both of those names many times.
Yeah. It could still end up that Liverpool were the best team, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's a bummer to me that City aren't even there.
Yeah, but that's because if it was the same as last year and it was the back and forth, you could completely take it.
Right.
Because that was just so entertaining last year that obviously Liverpool were 7 points ahead around Christmas time and then, dropped back a tiny bit, and then just both teams, it was just they were not losing, but Liverpool gradually dropped down with a couple of draws, and then that was all she wrote on the final day of the season. But that was fantastic. And so it is kind of a shame that it hasn't gone that way, but they've just got to be, City especially, having a massive eye on that game against Real Madrid.
Yeah, and Madrid are there to be had for sure.
Oh, massively this year. Yeah, no question about that. They are a shadow of their former selves. We've said it multiple times about all of the top leagues going across, that there's a lot of rebuilding going on everywhere. And so Real Madrid, when you have to go back to a manager who left and you don't really change much and you've still got players that are causing dissent and an aging team and people you want to get off the wage bill, there's a prime opportunity there for Man City to make a real kind of statement in the round of 16 to just go, yep, right, Real Madrid done, who's next?
Yeah, and they looked like they were playing against fucking cones, defending cones. I made that joke in the chat with you guys. Villa were just standing there. It might as well have been a training session for them. And City can fucking dismantle teams. They could do that to Real Madrid easily. That wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? They're that good. And so I guess I'm just disappointed in the Premier League. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Come on, Premier League.
All right. Well, before we jump to the break, Ian, let's check in on your Posh. How are they doing?
Yeah, we had a 0-0 draw against Gillingham.
This section always starts with, ugh.
It does at the minute.
Don't make me face my reality.
Yeah, I don't know what we're down to now. It must be 6th or 7th, and teams around us have a game in hand as well. It's bad times, to be honest, at the minute. I really hope our back half of the season picks up, because it's been a shocking December and January now as well. Let's have a look. Where are we?
It's all about that end of season playoff push, mate. That's what it is.
Fuck me, it's 9th now.
Oh,
Jeez.
What are the points saying? What points are we saying?
25 games played, 37 points. But Fleetwood Town are below us, and they've got 2 games in hand.
Eesh.
And then the next 3 teams below us have got a game in hand: Burton Albion, Bristol Rovers, and Blackpool. I mean, it's not good. I mean, we're still touching distance of the playoffs, but as you said, I mean, with 9th now, there's a couple of teams ahead of us, and they're decent teams as well. Doncaster Rovers, Portsmouth.
Did you say 22 games?
25 games.
25 games.
Points.
So that's still like 48 games left to go in the
yeah, about a million. Yeah,
you got time.
Yeah, that's 21 games left, but. Oh yeah, so there is plenty of time, but it's just I just don't like the form at the minute, and there's already talk about us having to buy a goalkeeper this January. We only bought a fucking goalkeeper. He's really not been what we hoped he'd be.
I can relate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just individual mistakes. I think we got another player sent off against Gillingham. I mean, how many red cards have we had over Christmas? There's definitely been some players looking for suspensions over Christmas. Fuck me.
Yeah, they played it smart. I remember looking, I'm pretty sure it was something like 3 out of 6 games in a row Peterborough had someone sent off. Let's have a look. Let me just pull this up and I will read it out to you. So, against Gillingham, red card. Then against Burnley, no one sent off. Lovely. Lost 4-2. Against Lincoln, you had a red card, 2-1. The previous game to that, Rotherham and Peterborough, red card. So,
started to fight that time, yeah.
And then we go back, and then it's not a while, like it's quite a while before your next one. So that's just a madness, though, that like 3 out of 4 games.
Yeah.
3 out of 3 in the league as well. You have someone sent off.
And we play AFC Wimbledon at the Cherry Red Records Stadium. So
Cherry Red Records.
Yeah, Red Records. Ugh.
All right, well, I'm sorry I asked.
Yeah, never ask again. I'll bring it up when we sort ourselves out.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, on that note, let's take a break, and we will come back with some listener stuff and some FPL team conversations. We'll see you in a bit.
And we never spoke of Peterborough again. Welcome back to the Miles Offside podcast. We're here for part 2, The Deuce, and we're going to start ourselves off with a little bit of interaction from yourselves in Ian's Corner. I don't know why I keep trying to make that a name for it.
Make it a thing. Sounds a bit sinister, really, doesn't it? It's like Blair Witch Project. So we've got one from Sam Danby, and I should mention really that this came in on our Slack channel, which you've set up, Chuck. Yeah. And this is a Slack channel for Patreons. We haven't mentioned this over the new year, really. So it's on patreon.com/milesoffsidepod, and you can donate at numerous different levels and get access to a Slack channel where me and Chuck are fairly active. Oscar doesn't understand what it is, so he doesn't really use it.
True.
And you can submit your questions there. We talk FPL, we talk football, we talk Australian A-League weirdness quite a lot at the minute.
But their mascots are ketchup bottles and barbecue. And that's a bit weird, but
very odd stuff going on the Slack. So if you want to join us, then you can get on the Patreon there. But Sam Danby is one of our Patreons, and he asks, is there any New Year's resolution nonsense going on your end? So, gentlemen, any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I got one. Last year I didn't really do any running events. It was the first time in a while that I didn't. So this year I'm going to try to get back with the feet hitting the old pavement. I got myself a nice pair of running shoes yesterday. Going to sign up for a couple of half marathons, maybe do another full. It's been a while since I did that. I really hate myself, and I think a healthy way to process that is to damage my legs and body by running many, many miles.
You've done marathons before?
Yeah.
You're a weirdo.
I am indeed. Yes. It is cheaper than therapy, so.
Okay. How many marathons have you done in the past?
1, 2, 2.5.
2.5, right, okay.
Yeah, 2.5. The last one, I think that was part of why I took last year off. The last marathon I attempted, I had bronchitis, so I probably shouldn't have tried.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, actually.
It was the day before my 30th birthday, and I was like, no, fuck this. I gotta get one in before I turn 30. And Emily was like, you idiot, you have bronchitis. This is a horrible idea. My dad had signed up for that one with me, so I was excited to run with him as well. It was his first marathon.
Okay.
I got to mile 18 and basically just collapsed. Emily and my mom were like, nope, no more. You are going home. And I was like, well, he has to finish, though. If he promises to finish, then fine. But if not, I'm going to go until I collapse, literally. And so I will only stop if my dad promises to finish. And he did. And that was a great birthday present to me that he got to finish his first ever marathon.
I don't think you understand gifts.
But don't try to run a marathon with bronchitis. Not recommended. Very traumatic, which is why I didn't run anything last year.
I'm not doing, any of that.
Not doing any of that business.
I don't want to run. I don't want bronchitis. I don't want that's not a Venn diagram. That's just one circle. None of those things.
Oh, so is that your New Year's resolution? Not to run a marathon?
Well, I don't really do New Year's resolutions because, fuck that. Can't be bothered. But just do something when you want to do it. Don't use like New Year, new me, all this crap. No, you're not. You're still the same old prick. And so that's always my resolution to just, I promise, guys, I promise all of you, and I will maintain this, I'm not going to change.
Just keep being the same old prick? That's your resolution?
Yes, because in this crazy, crazy world in which we live, of the many upside downs and the hithertos and why-fors of craziness everywhere, you need a galactic constant, guys, a sort of an anchor point that we can all ensure, no matter what happens. It's sort of like the little spindle thing that the guys have in Inception, or like their whatever it is, totem.
Totem,
yeah. Yes, fucking bang it. And that's just me being a dickhead for you guys. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ian? You're going to learn to count higher than 1 this year, or?
No, because then I'll get promoted at work and I can't handle the pressure. I don't know. I don't have a specific New Year's resolution because I think that's you're just setting yourself up for a fall, aren't you?
Especially if you tell people on some sort of recorded medium and then you don't back it
Exactly,
up.
which is an awful idea. I mean, I've got a vague thing that my weight is going down. It's going in the right direction. It's just happening very, very, very slowly.
I don't know. There was a week where it was happening very, very rapidly.
Yes, there was 1 week. That's true. I've more than made up for it this weekend. With it being my birthday on Friday, I've been fucking
Happy
terrible.
birthday!
Yeah,
Yay.
thanks, yeah.
His 111th birthday. Like Bilbo.
It's gone up a bit. But yeah, this weekend's been terrible. But fuck knows. I haven't been to the gym since before Christmas, and mostly to let all the January pricks leave.
Yeah, it has gotten noticeably more crowded.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. I hate that.
All the people with their shiny new spandex.
Exactly. Has it already started dropping off though? Like 2 weeks in, usually enough people start fucking not going anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Blue Monday tomorrow, innit?
Is that what you call your birthday? Blue Monday?
No, well, I was born in that. No, because it's like 2 weeks into the new year. Everything's kind of settled down. That's it. Life has begun again. No more like 2 weeks of no one knowing what day it is and all that kind of jazz.
The bloke who came up with that said, "Oh no, it's a load of bollocks."
New Order?
No, not New Order. No. Said no, it's a load of bollocks. A marketing company phoned me up and asked me to come up with something. So I did a bullshit formula that then got printed, and now it's apparently a thing. But yeah, he totally made it up.
I don't understand what marketing is.
It was,
congratulations, you're all depressed today.
Yeah, I can find out. But yeah, it was.
People
I'm
kill
going to go
themselves.
ahead and assume he was English.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Chucky, how was your birthday weekend, right? It's your birthday weekend too? Insofar as it's the weekend closest to your birthday?
Yeah, it's the weekend closest to my birthday, yeah. My birthday's on
Anything
Tuesday.
fun? Anything fun going on?
I got to watch the Palace-Arsenal game.
Ew. No, I said something fun.
I got to the bit in Jedi Fallen Order where I made my own lightsaber. Spoiler alert.
Ooh, that is a good one. What color did you go for?
Purple, naturally.
Oh, yeah, you would. Fair enough.
Yeah. What did you do? Were you depressed that there was no red in it?
I was, yes, actually, genuinely, but you can be damn sure that when I go to Disneyland in a month, I will be making a red lightsaber at Savi's workshop.
Can you get white ones? Do they do white and somehow make a dark saber that's just a black light?
They do have a black kyber crystal, so you can pretend it's a dark saber, but that costs extra. You have to buy that separate, but yeah.
I mean, if we're just playing pretend, like, you don't need to buy anything, mate, really, do you? Just get the cheapest option. Maybe get a toilet roll, or maybe just a kitchen roll holder, and just pretend you've got a lightsaber. Fuck you, Disney. Give us the black ones.
Blue Monday came about because Sky Travel were the company that wanted to get out there that everyone's depressed in the winter and so you should all go on holiday. And yeah, I probably want to lose a couple of stone, but whatever. I'm not putting a date on it.
Just chop your leg off, mate. Job done.
Could do. I've got very powerful legs.
A meaty thigh.
Very powerful legs.
How much is a stone?
Some pounds. 14 pounds.
Fucking hell, you want to lose 30 pounds this year?
Probably.
Quite the goal. I like that. That's impressive.
Well, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I believe in you, bud.
Okay. My brother-in-law's getting married in August, and I'm fucked if I'm going to buy another suit, but there's no way I'm going to fit into the one I've got now. it's got a waistcoat. I'll just look like a sausage.
Well, here's an idea, Ian. Why don't, for recording purposes, why don't you just run down to me every week?
Okay.
Run down to me, Peterborough to South, Surrey.
I don't know. I feel a bit of bronchitis. Coming on, to be honest.
Well, that's perfect running conditions, mate.
Oh, is
Crack
it?
on.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, if it's less than 18 miles, you can probably do it. But, beyond that, that's when you're kind of getting up there.
If it's less than 18 miles, I mean...
Yeah, apparently that's the limit of how far I can run with bronchitis is 18 miles. Now I know that about myself.
You shouldn't be running at all. Marathons are bad for you, aren't they? I mean, aren't they medically bad for you?
Yeah. My knees are horrible. I have no kind of knee cartilage anymore, and I'm only 31.
Really, I've got terrible knees. Doctor told me I couldn't run.
There you go. Now you have an excuse.
Lucky, you got a note.
Yeah.
They say, where's your doctor's note? I don't have one.
I train on the elliptical most of the time, and then just to sort of see if my knees... Well, I wasn't at first. The first couple of big races I ran, I was out hitting the road.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I've switched over to the elliptical just to get the cardio in.
So effectively, your New Year's resolution is to well and truly fuck your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Never mind. Good. And you did an old school thing, Oscar. You put a question in yourself. You've not done that since before we had, no listeners. And now we've got some listeners.
Literally some listeners.
We've got some. You decided to do it again.
Yeah. 2020.
Everything you justify is just 2020.
2020.
I know. It's great. I can get away with it for 2 more days after Blue Monday. Not allowed.
Right, okay.
Just taken on this Blue Monday thing fully.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said, which specific season/year of your team has been your all-time favourite?
Ooh.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you, listener.
Thank you, Oscar.
I think I'll go first. I have something ready to go for that.
Oh.
That's surprising.
Would it by any chance be something to do with a team that might have in 2012, perhaps May 19th,
Perchance.
won like the Asia Trophy or something?
Yeah, go on the Asia Trophy.
Actually, surprisingly, no. That is not my favorite ever Chelsea team or season.
Fuck me.
Oh, is that because Michael Ballack wasn't in it?
That, partially, yes. Also, we were pretty crap for most of that season. We fired a manager halfway through because things were going so poorly. So I don't have particularly fond memories other than those last 3 games in the Champions League. But and the FA Cup. I think we won the FA Cup that year too. But no, my answer is 2009-2010 Chelsea. They were the first English team to score 100 goals, 103 to be precise. We smashed the league, and I think our last 4 games that year were all 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, 4-0, something insane like that. That was Ballack's last season. It was just a really fun year. I watched that DVD all the time. And that was our first ever domestic double, FA Cup and League.
It's genuinely surprising. I thought for sure we were going to get another 2012 retrospective. But...
Yeah. Oh, Didier Drogba.
That's a great impression of his.
That's what you sound like, dude. I've been listening to you for a year and a half now. I'm down.
Yeah. No, you don't listen to me. You're just on the same Skype call.
Huh? Chuck, you got one?
Mine would be... See, I don't have this luxury that I can choose a successful season. Not filmed within my lifetime anyway. Because obviously Palace were known as the team of the 80s and we had that good thing going and nearly won the FA Cup in 1990. I got the year wrong the other day. I wasn't born when it happened. It was...
Got the year of your birth wrong or the year of the FA Cup?
Both. Don't know, no idea. So that happened, and we should have been in bloody Europe before that. I mean, because we finished the league. It's finished second in the league in the old Division 1.
Oh, yeah, you got screwed by the...
Well, you say screwed. Basically, it was after Liverpool got all English teams banned from European competitions, which then, but flip side, that meant that we had the Full Members Cup, or the Zenith Data Systems Cup, which we won. Big ups to ZDS, our only trophy to date. And... But then all the English teams were meant to get a 5-year ban and Liverpool meant to get a 6-year ban. Palace finished second in the league on the 5th year, and then they knocked a year off of Liverpool's ban. So that, Liverpool got the spot in the European trophy. So that would have been our one chance. But this team was, so in 1997 to 1998, was kind of the year that as a kid I was really appreciating football, and we'd just been promoted. I'd been to the playoff final against Sheffield United. David Hopkins scored right at the absolute death to send us through and went absolutely wild. And then throughout that season, we were absolute fucking dog shit. Finished bottom in the league. I think we had 30-something points, like bad. Qualified for the Intertoto Cup, though.
Oh, the one they all want.
Yeah, no idea. Then we lost to some Turkish team. But it's kind of all the players that, as a kid, I just had like the most fond memories of. And still to this day, a lot of them, I have no idea whether they were any good. But judging by the league position, not at all. It had like big transfers in there. Like we signed Attilio Lombardo from Juventus. Herman Hreiderson came in, who obviously went on for a lot of years afterwards with various clubs. I remember Paul Warhurst, who had won the league with Blackburn a few years before. Marcus Bent. We had Clinton Morrison then. One of my favourite players, Bruce Dyer, because the chant was Bruce Dyer. And as a 6-year-old, you just love that. And of course, that's when Thomas Brolin turned out for us for a full year. Big old fatty Brolin. Also, that was when I used to collect the Panini stickers, and 97, 98 completed the whole thing.
Oh, that's a good year. Any year
So
you do that.
that was my best one. And like the Palace team was one of the first, because obviously we're the players no one wants, so they put loads in them packets. So yeah, that was my team, 97, 98. And I went to a game, and one of my games was against Chelsea, and Chelsea won, I think it was 3-0. And this was when they were full of horrible scroats like Dennis Wise. And Dennis Wise went through the back of Attilio Lombardo, who was like our massive marquee signing, who had been a fantastic player in Juventus, and completely destroyed him, and he never played for us again. Unequivocally and forevermore, fuck you, Dennis Wise, with your eyes too close together.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So your favorite ever Palace season is a season where you came in last? Is that?
Yeah.
Seems to be what we're looking at, yeah.
It set the tone.
Gotcha. That's a very Chuck answer, I gotta say.
The most Chuck
very
answer.
on brand.
That's my favourite. That set me up for life.
Yeah.
There you go. And you're super mad this year when you're going to have your highest ever points total. You don't like this year.
No, awful.
Awful business.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Glad we're just straightened that out. Let's go.
Oh, excellent.
What about you, Ian? What's good with the posh?
1999-2000 season. So I was 16. I was going every week. So
60? Bloody hell.
It was the summer of love. Buckaroo.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I was 16. I was
60.
Yeah, 16. 16. 1-6. There you go.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes, isn't it? 1-6. So yeah, I was 16 and I was going every week. It was one of them seasons where we sort of were up and down, similar to this season, I guess. Maybe it's a sign. We were up and down all season, and then the last 6 games we won 5 out of our last 6. Really big push, and then we got Barnet in the playoffs. We were away first, and I think we won 2-1 or 3-1. Can't remember. And then for the return fixture at Peterborough, we won 3-0. Midfielder David Farrell got a hat-trick, pitch invasion at the end. It was absolutely fucking brilliant at 16 to go on the pitch and be singing like a mental case. And then we played the playoff final. It was the last League One, or I think it was Third Division back then. When did it become League One? Jesus Christ. It was the last Third Division League playoff to be at the old Wembley.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was the second time I've been to the old Wembley, because we did the playoff final in 1992 as well. And yeah, that was just, it was just one of them things where, you're like 16 and you've not, you can't be going out all the time because you've not got a shitload of money or anything. But going to Posh every week was something I did and something I could afford, because it weren't a lot of money back then.
Yeah, no, football in general wasn't a lot of money back then.
Exactly. It was something
and getting to go to the old Wembley as well, like.
Yeah, that whole sort of run of the season, because at like six games out, it looked like we were done and dusted, mid-table. And then that last sort of 5 out of 6 games winning. And it just felt like we were really sort of riding a crest of a wave.
So, hang on a minute. You were in the third tier.
Third tier, yeah.
Third tier. Weren't doing so well.
Yeah.
Then went on a late run.
Yeah.
Potentially play. I mean, it's like
all there,
the 20th
isn't it?
Anniversary.
Yeah.
And it was an 09-0 season.
Fuck you, 09-0 season.
Was it not? Did you say it was 99-2000?
99-2000. I thought he was saying there 1909.
Oh, no. no, he just wasn't counting properly.
I was saying it's a season ending in 9-0.
Oh, right. Okay.
That means it's the 20-year anniversary, Stimson.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm feeling upbeat. This is ridiculous.
Yeah!
That's funny that you were 99-2000 and I was 09-10. And Chuck, your greatest ever points total is going to be...
And I started off...
19-20.
I started off by referring to 89-90. So, synergy. And the old Wembley was bloody lovely but weird.
Yeah.
The fact that there was tons of... I mean, I don't know how... Because obviously it's... it got knocked down soon after that. And then everything went to Cardiff. Because it was the new stadium, because it was the Millennium Stadium, wasn't it?
Exactly. Next year's playoffs were Millennium Stadium.
There were so many seats, Oscar, where if you sat in them, you genuinely couldn't see about 30 to 50% of the pitch.
Why?
Yeah.
The roof
Massive
went
pillars.
all the way round. Huge, great big pillars. Like 4 or 5 seat wide pillars.
Yep.
So
that's amazing.
They sold restricted view seats where it was like, no, you're just not going to see the pitch.
Yeah, they might be about like 10 quid less, and you're not seeing it. You're just there hearing the chants.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Madness.
Honestly, I'd take it if I was like in London and it was the only seat I could get. It'd be the second time I've ever seen Chelsea. I'd fucking sit in a restricted view seat.
You're not struggling to get tickets to Peterborough Darlington. So there's plenty of.
But you do wish there was a pillar there to not be able to see it.
Well, let's hope that our collective team seasons are as good as 89-90, 99-2000, and 09-10. If Chelsea can finish 17-0 in their last 3 matches, collective scoreline, I'd be pretty fucking happy with that.
Take it.
Yeah. 5 out of 6 wins for Peterborough to end the season. That'd be nice.
I'd love it. It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so that's it for listener stuff, but where can people get in touch with us, Ian?
So you can get us on Twitter. That's the best place, probably. Miles Offside Pod. Facebook, we're in Miles Offside, but I'm not sure anyone uses that. It's nans and stuff, innit? People like me.
My aunt, and just loads of people saying, "Oh, someone commented on a picture." I'm like, all right.
I mean, Oscar used it this week, but other than that,
yeah.
I'm active on the Facebooks because all my pictures are on there. When Facebook, which is inherently evil and whatnot, like when it inevitably goes down, what the fuck am I going to do with like all of my pictures from all the important things from the last 15 years? This is why our parents were smart to have actual photo albums. I should just print everything out.
You can request, like, just easily on Facebook, you can request them to send all of your data to you in a zipped file.
Yeah, but it sends you like the lowest resolution possible for all the pictures. It looks like it was taken on a cell phone from 2002.
Well, a lot of my stuff was, mate. So. Fucking hell.
Yeah, you guys only just got 3G over there, so.
Yeah, exactly. I did it, and they sent some charcoal drawings through. It was lovely.
Cave paintings. They just drove up with a fucking wall
of a yak.
Of a yak.
It was nice. It was nice to see.
So FPL team?
FPL team. Game is still updating, naturally, but I don't think we really have. I mean, we got 2 points coming off the bench and no bonus points, so 51 looks like we'll finish the week on.
Seems average.
It seems about it, doesn't it? Especially after City went and done themselves a mischief. How about you, gents? How did you get on this week?
I couldn't even remotely tell you.
Do you want me to tell you what you got, Oscar? You got 60 points, mate.
Is that good? Is it a week where people were good, or is it a week where
quite
people
good.
were...
Not bad. That's fine.
You had Rashford, Vardy, Abraham up front, so that's all returns.
Oh, I have Sterling in, so I'll get 1 point from Grealish.
Yep, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Lundstrom, so that's pretty solid, mate.
Nice. Yeah, green arrows. I see green arrows.
See green.
Almost in the top 2 million. Yeah.
Oh, God. How about you, Ian? What did you get?
It looks like I'm finishing on 58, I think.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, you done me.
No, I just didn't lose by enough for you to overtake me.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, 56. 56.
Oh.
10 points on the bench for Richarlison, though. That was a shame.
Oh, that's a bit of a sickener. Yeah.
That was a bit of a wounder, but it's all changed now. And yes, so our FPL team didn't really kind of take off then, really. We had Lundstrom and TAA, but Tomori didn't play, so we got 2 points coming in for Aurier. God knows why he's bloody in our team. Mane only got the 3 points, but we got a return from Martial, De Bruyne, Vardy, obviously, so not a lot. 4 or 5 players kind of carrying us through, which has seen us drop down the ranks quite a bit. You know, we were pushing
it's not been good.
100k for a while, and obviously after this has been adjusted, I'm not too sure it'll be, but at the minute we're 180,000, so 1,250 points, which considering we were on 1,000 after 17 game weeks.
Yeah, it's because we've been making my transfers, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone should just stop listening to me, and this team went to crap.
Stop that.
Yeah. So speaking of which, go on then, Oscar. So what's your suggestion? I'll let you get, as I shall respectfully, as reigning FPL champion, as is my want, and current FPL champion, as is my want. Drink it in, Ian. It always goes down smooth. What is your suggestion, Oscar, for our transfer this week?
I am going to suggest finally getting Tomori out, because we've been kind of putting that off for a while.
Gotcha.
And also, we need to get Ings in. I think we desperately need Ings.
Yeah, you can't do that. He's a
Nope,
forward.
but we have 2 free transfers, so I can make both of those things happen.
Okay, cool.
In my one suggestion. So Calvert-Lewin out for Ings.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then Tomori, and downgrading in terms of funds, but a player that a lot of people are picking up. I'm going to suggest Williams, a 4.0 defender currently playing for Manchester United.
That's good. It seems like you really put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah.
Did you log in and look at the team?
I did. I know the password now, and this is why I'm making decent suggestions.
So you did see that we only have 1 free transfer, right?
Thank you.
Wait, what?
We've only got 1 free transfer.
Only got 1 free transfer. Looked at the wrong team. Should have read the small print in your contract.
We didn't roll one last week. We did your suggestion of Ali to Maddison.
Yeah, you won last week.
Yeah. All right. We can afford Calvert-Lewin to Ings right now, but if Ings' price rises before the decision gets made with the Twitter poll, then we won't be able to afford it, so I'll still go with the 2 for 2.
Okay, so you're going for points hit.
Points hit to get Ings in and Tomori out.
Okay. Ian?
I don't like that. We only got Calvert-Lewin in recently.
Dude, this is what Oscar does. This is what Oscar does.
Straight out again.
And because he goes for these stupid snap judgments with things and on Twitter, because they're all volatile and no one reads it, and he deliberately does it to play games, this is what the transfers make, and therefore this team is fucked.
I can't be doing with one side of the hit being getting Williams in, who has played 180 minutes in the last 8 games or something,
and is shit. Did you see him spoon the ball over the bar in Norwich? 3 yards out. It genuinely went at an angle that I'm assuming it hit the orbit of the fucking space station.
Still going up now.
It's still going.
It all fell apart when we finally got Pulisic in. I don't know what the hell to suggest anymore, so I'm just...
It's you. It's all you, because you and your stupid shit. And then we broke it down, and then me and Ian got fucking AIDS, and we couldn't keep our insides in, and then you just begun this reign of terror with your dog shit transfer suggestions, and then the public went on it, and you started I made the perfect suggestion. And I'm sticking... Ian, go on, what's your suggestion? Go on, before I get angry.
Just roll this single 1 free transfer that we've got. The reason is because we have got only... Don't put your head in your hands, Chuck. Just listen. Give me a sec. We've got 2 Liverpool players. We're going to... For the week after this, we're going to need 3. So we're going to need 2 transfers. We don't need to take a hit. Fucking Sir Hits-a-Lot over there taking a hit for fucking Brandon Williams, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, what a twat. What an absolute fucking twat. Can we just mute him from the rest of this podcast? I really need a minute to calm down.
Roll it, and then next week we can figure out which third Liverpool player we need. We'll have 2 free transfers, so we can do whatever we like, and then we can talk about whether we're going to triple captain someone.
All right, I mean, annoyingly, that's probably going to win, but I still want to wildcard, so I'm going to say wildcard.
This is so...
So we have wild card, roll the transfer, and points hit to get Ings and in and Tomori out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a disparate group of choices.
Yeah.
That really is.
I feel like mine's going to win, despite the points hit.
No, I don't think so. But it's just, it's annoying. Do I actually want a wild card? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
You don't like this team.
You really don't, yeah.
Consistently saying you don't like this team.
Your wild card is my Pulisic. You're just going to keep suggesting it until it happens.
There's 7 things I want, 6 things I want changed. So, yes. And then I would get in Ings. So, if you vote for me, I will deliver on these points. I will get Ings in.
A vote for Chuck is a vote for Ings.
A vote for Ings, because that guy bloody needs to be in our team.
He really does.
And to be honest, I'd probably drop Jimenez. And I'll get rid of Aurier because no one wants him. I'll get rid of Tomori. I'll do Oscar's suggestion, but I'll make it better. We'll get instantly, guys, we'll get an extra 4 points if we do mine. Instantly better.
I think we need to save our wild card for those double game weeks. I'm just saying.
There's a double game week coming, but it doesn't matter. You can gradually. It's far enough in advance. You can gradually build towards it. And at that point of the season, easily could be it's all over. It's all over. Done by then, potentially. So you're not going to know who's going to play. Whereas at this point of the season, I know it's a smaller double game week, but you know at least what players are going to play because they want the strength.
Yeah, not Brandon Williams most of the time.
Exactly. So not only will a vote for me avoid a points hit and instantly plus 4 points, you won't have a stupid dog shit Man United needless defender.
He's the most transferred in defender this week.
Because people are stupid, like you.
Democracy, baby.
I'm so annoyed. I'm still so annoyed at what happened to this. But no, I'm just fine now because it just means I'll catch the FBL team and then I'll be the proper reigning champion. Because if this is voted on for by the public and I beat that, therefore I'm better than everyone.
And that's what it's all about.
Fixtures.
Yeah, I was going to say, take a breath.
We got Watford Spurs as the early kickoff next Saturday. So don't need to worry about Friday, but I think, very interesting. A good little match up there. It's followed up by our 3 o'clocks. Arsenal, Sheffield United, Brighton, Aston Villa. Oh, fuck.
Have you just seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Man City 6, Crystal Palace 0 at 3.
I'm not even giving you a goal.
No, we won't get the penalty.
Worse than Villa.
We probably get the penalty, but Milivojevic isn't there, so we won't score it.
Yeah, true.
Norwich Bournemouth. I mean, watch that.
Tasty.
You can't. Oscar, watch that for us.
Yeah, let us know what happens with that.
Yeah, that's your punishment. You have to watch the 2 worst teams in the league because you're just infecting us with your dog shit transfers. We have Southampton, Wolves, West Ham, Everton, Chelsea, Newcastle. God, you better win. Then moving on to Sunday, Burnley, Leicester, and Liverpool, Man United. Could Liverpool drop points again?
No.
Okay.
Probably
Fair.
not.
Any other fixtures we're looking at?
I think there's a real potential banana skin in that early match. We'll see if Watford can get the result that they deserve, being the bigger team in that one.
Being the bigger team. I mean, I can't... Like, you look at form, it's a wild difference between the 2 teams. I mean, Watford have got 13 out of 15 and Tottenham have got 4. I
just want someone to beat Liverpool. Like, jokes aside, I'm fucking tired of hearing about the Invincibles and the record and blah, blah, blah. I hope Man United win. Even if that would be bad for Chelsea.
There's no part of you that sort of wants Liverpool to do it?
None whatsoever.
It's because it's been going on for so long now that Oscar's getting wound up. This is what I said before. This is kind of the antithesis of what I said before, that if Liverpool have won the league this early, does it take some of the sheen off of it when it finally gets given to them because they've had all the time to just be like, right, it's done, blah, 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 blah. Whereas Oscar now, it's happening so early that he's just getting really riled up.
I mean, I have a feeling as a neutral, I just sort of I want to see something spectacular now, and it's not going to be Man City catching them up. I just can't see that. So I just want to see something spectacular now. You know, I loved watching Arsenal Invincibles back in the day.
Yeah, see, that's my thing. Is like, fuck the Arsenal Invincibles. There's been like 6 or 7 better teams than them in the Premier League era alone. But everybody sucks them off because they were, Invincible. But like, fuck
Because
off.
it is an incredible thing to do.
If no one beats you in a whole year, you literally opened last week with Liverpool have gone a full calendar year without losing a match. That's pretty fucking impressive.
I mean, it is, but
That's
I don't
what
want
you
them...
sound like.
That's true. Again, spot on impressions.
I do sound like that.
That's true.
Norwich.
Nah, I just don't want to fucking hear about this for the rest of forever. It's bad enough having to listen to people be like, oh, Arsenal Invincibles are such a great team. Like, no, they're like one of the better teams, I guess, but nowhere near the best team of all time. Like, fuck off.
That was good fixture analysis there. So Liverpool, we don't want them to win the league, apparently. I think it would just be a bit crap now if there was a middle ground. And if Liverpool lost like maybe 2 or 3 games, got a couple of draws, but then City performed the same way.
Yeah, if it was a bit of a nothing end.
It was still like a win and a convincing win, but you didn't, at this point, they kind of, that's where the pressure now applies, that it's like, right, we're doing something so impressive, we have to keep that up.
I just don't want Liverpool to be like one of the 5 best points totals ever and undefeated. If they could finish with like 90 points, like a very, very convincing team that deserves a title but isn't like in the all-time greats conversation, I'm good with that. Because they're not one of the all-time greats. Like, and I will never, ever be okay with that.
I'm a big advocate for hating on Liverpool, but you saying something like that is fucking insane, dude.
Sure. They're not even the best team in England this year.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're not great. Like, you can still be great but not be incredible.
Look, that's my 2020 resolution, is for Liverpool to lose a game. Okay?
Okay.
Not in your hands,
Just
mate.
to lose a game. Imagine if they got to 2021 without losing a game.
Oh my God.
Klopp, listen to this.
Yep, that's the thing that really put them over the top.
Yeah.
Is my little rant.
But there we go. So that was our unenthusiastic look at the fixtures, mostly punctuated with Oscar's hatred for Liverpool.
What can you do?
Well, this is it. This is the podcast. So thank you very much for listening once again, guys. We'll be back next week, I'm sure, and looking forward to being inside your earballs in the middle of this week. So say goodbye, Ian.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Oscar.
Norwich.
And it's bye from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday for later, Chuck.
Oh, thanks, mate. I mean, you say later for us now, but it's
This comes out on Wednesday. When's your birthday?
Tuesday, so before them. So for you listening...
Oh, no, let's not do a time travel thing. No.
But for me, it'll be... Oh, God.
Back to the
Existential crisis.